Hi guys, thank you for watching another episode of Living Life Live. I'm Kim, and if you just take a moment before we get started to click like or subscribe down below, and that way you won't have to miss another episode of or update on my weight loss journeys. And so let's go ahead and begin and talk about the last month, how that's been for me. So anyway, back in December, I posted that I was going to start a vlog on my weight loss, and I was going to talk about my struggles, and I was going to talk about my successes. And for those of you who watched my last video, I talked a lot about how I have to be in balanced spirit, mind, and body, how I can lose the weight and be in danger of putting everything back on if I don't get what's going on in between these two things here in the right place. So with that in perspective, going into the month of February, I decided that I was going to have a themed month. I had lost 8 pounds in the month of January and decided that I was going to set a goal of, I believe it was 5 pounds. I haven't gone back and watched the video, so I really don't remember, and I didn't write it down. But I decided that I was going to go with 5 pounds because it was a short month, and I wanted to make sure that I was successful. So I themed the month, and of course, Valentine's Day is right smack in the middle of February. So what do? I themed the month Self-love month, yes. Oh, Kim, that's so corny, but you know what? It was a good experience for me. And let's face it, whether you love or it just absolutely, I hate Valentine's Day and I hate love and you're one of those people, we all have an opinion or a thought process on love. And it just depends what side of the prism we're standing on at that time. So that being said, I ran with that theme, and it was a hard one. The month of February, short as it was jam-packed with a lot of good stuff, and I had to keep on track and keep going, keep running the race, so to speak. We had a death in the family. It was somebody very, very close to us. And that was a hard hit. And right at the same time, I got sick. You guys see my fever blister here. And then I had another one up here where I practically wiped my nose off my face. And it was a hard month. And so my workouts weren't what they should have been. My eating wasn't what it should have been. But it wasn't what it could have been either. I tend to eat my emotions, and while I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say that I didn't eat surrounding how I felt, I was able to recognize it. The Lord kind of revealed to me that I'm still not really comfortable in my skin. And so I didn't eat poorly. I was able to be consistent, and I was able to stay on track as far as making right choices go most of the time. Now, the time that we had for the funeral, I ate what was there. I didn't count my points. I didn't look at calories. I didn't think about sugar, except for the one time that I had this we stopped at this gas station and we got this coffee, and it was way more sugar than it was coffee or milk. And I passed that off to the next person who needed their sugar fix, because amazing things happened. I couldn't tolerate that amount of sugar. I just couldn't drink it. It was like drinking liquid sugar. And so that worked well. My body's definitely changing in that aspect. But we had some fried foods, and I just kind of rolled with it. And even at the reception after the funeral, my daughter is like, "Mom, how many points is that? How many points is that?" And I'm like, "Girl, we're not doing points this week or this weekend." And she's like, "But Mom, how many points is that?" And I'm like, "I am not doing points this weekend." So I'm just coming in from the weigh-in, which would have been, if we go with, it takes 2 weeks for your work to show up. I only went up 0.2. I went up 0.2 this week, and last week I was down 0.8. So overall, it wasn't a bad thing. I kind of took care of me, and that still just goes in that self-love kind of thing. And for me, it was learning that I still really, even though I like who I am a lot more today, I really still don't feel comfortable inside my skin. And somewhere a long, long time ago, I thought that not only food was my friend, but it had this magical ability to make me feel better when things made me feel uncomfortable. And okay, so now we're going to be sad because my loved one died. And I'm sick, and oh my gosh, I can't work out. What? And so then we're going to throw in, on top of it, in the beginning of February, I had a doctor's appointment. And so we went in, and she's reading my numbers. They did my blood pressure. They threw me on the scale. And I'm waiting for this pat on the back, because I just know, because in January, I had such good numbers. And I dropped weight on top of that. And she says, Kim, your blood pressure looks great. You know, maybe we're going to start talking about taking you off of one of the 3 meds. And I'm like, yes, score. And she is quiet, and I'm waiting, you know, getting ready for that big old pat on the back. Yeah. And she's like, Kim, need to ask you a question. Yeah, doc, you go right ahead. Go on, ask me anything. Why haven't you lost any weight? That's not what you were supposed to say. What do you mean I haven't lost any weight? I have lost 8 pounds. Well, I didn't even say 8 pounds. Let me take that. Let me redo. Cut. Take. I lost almost 10 pounds in the month of January. That's really what happened. And she says, I want to show you something. And so she turns around her computer so that I can see it. She points to today's date. Yep, I see that. She points to today's weight. Yep, that's what the number should say. She scoots across, and I see the date is for 3 months previous. A little bit further to the number. And I don't remember if it was 1 pound more or 1 pound less, but it was within a pound. Excuse me, it was within a pound of what my current number is. Listen, I know being a doctor is really hard, and this month was much harder for you than it was for me, because like you had to read the scale and you had to move that little thing, and then you had to type it into the computer. Like, it was so hard for you. But doctor, I feel better than I have ever felt before. I have eaten better than I've probably eaten in my whole life, and that's what you want to focus on. The fact that I am yo-yoing between this number and that number for 3 stinking months. What? She says, okay, so we're not going to cut this med. Well, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? So, okay, I came out, and I'm part of these weight loss groups online. And one of them I'm really, really active in. And I go in there, and of course I rant. And I'm really adamant that, you know, when I go back in 3 months, because now I have to go back in 3 months again. I have to get my blood work done, and all that fun stuff. That it's going to be different. But something shifted up here, and I'm not really quite sure what. Truth be told is I lost my focus. And it was a good learning tool for me, though, in retrospect. Why was it a good learning tool? Because I tend to think that I struggle with being inconsistent. And everybody tells me I need to be consistent. So in the meantime, what I did learn was that I am able to be consistent, but I tend to be consistent with the things in the negative. So if you sit here and you tell me I'm ugly and my mother dresses me funny, I'm going to go up here where I shouldn't be left alone, unattended. And I am going to consistently, because you gave me an emotion that I don't know how to deal with, I'm going to go, and I'm not just going to have a piece or a bite the way Weight Watchers tells me I can of chocolate cake. I'm going to eat the whole flaming thing, and no, you are not even going to get to smell it. And so when I seen how good I was really at internalizing and shaming myself, I use that as my focus for self-love in a way to kind of turn it around. So for the month of February, I ended up gaining. I ended up gaining 2.5 pounds, and I am really okay with that. 2.5 pounds, good. But what I also ended up doing was learning that in my consistencies, I have to break some of the consistencies in the negative in order to balance out and become more consistent in the positive. So I didn't eat my emotions the way I could have. Now, does that mean that I didn't eat any of my feelings? No. I did a lot better than I thought I was going to do. Right before we were ready to drive up, I ate because I didn't know what to do with it. My skin was crawling. I didn't know what to do. And I could have just as easily said, and here's where I learned, okay, Kim, instead of really diving into that thing you really don't need and don't want to have, maybe we need to just go take a walk around the block. And it's okay that you didn't run. It's okay that you didn't walk the dogs. You need to come to terms with what's going on. You need to process it. You need to feel it. You need to be in the moment. Because if we really didn't want to be in the moment, well, then we'd probably be drunk or passed out in a food coma somewhere. So why don't we just walk through this and process it? So next time we have it in our memory banks, how to deal with it. And it was really a good learning experience for me. I did eat, as I said, before we went up on the drive, and I allowed myself the freedom to not have to worry about my weight loss that weekend. Also, when we had to say, there was another goodbye that we had to say, but it was a little bit more of a happy one because my bestie's daughter was, she's starting a new chapter of her life. And I was really uncomfortable with that too. And we were supposed to go out to dinner, and it didn't quite work out the way that she had planned it or that any of us had planned it. But before I knew that that was going to happen, I got uncomfortable and I decided, well, and so I went and I had some food that I shouldn't have had. I had some fried chicken selects at McDonald's, knowing that we were going to go into a restaurant and have dinner. And then I was bringing this huge salad to church and yada, yada. Long story short, it ended up where I didn't even have to worry about what we were deciding on in the menu because we ended up not eating before she left anyway. And I just realized that, learning to become comfortable in my own skin is Kim taking care of Kim. It's self-love. It's learning that I don't have to eat, and it's okay to not be okay. I don't have to run, but I can do things to still take care of me, like I can take that walk, or maybe I can go take a nap, or maybe I can read a book. So the scale really didn't go in the direction that I wanted it to go this week. Hopefully you guys are having much better luck on this length of the journey. My goals for March, because I'm still going strong and I still consider it success. It's my success story. You know what? I didn't do as bad as I could have done. I could have gone up 10 pounds and I didn't. I still ate for the most part, even though I didn't measure my food. I wasn't as avid about it. I did make healthier choices for most of the month. And so this month, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go back to basics. I'm going to go back to measuring everything. If it goes in his mouth, I'm going to write it down and I'm going to measure it. I've learned how to use my Weight Watcher scale, so that's a plus. And I'm just not going to be so mean to so cruel to Kim. I'm going to continue in the self-love process however as uncomfortable as that may be, but I'm also going to give myself the benefit of the doubt of, just living and enjoying life, because that's part of this weight loss journey too. So, weight loss, I am looking to, at the end of the month, I am looking to do my second 5K. I'm hoping to run a big part of that. I'm not setting myself up to say I'm going to run all of it. I want to run part of that. So I'm going to be back out there hitting the pavement, and I'm going to get on the treadmill as it gets warmer here in the Sunshine State. A little too warm to be out in the morning sometimes. It hasn't hit that yet, but as it does that, I'm going to be hitting the treadmill. And so I can't wait to tell you in April how that 5K went. I'm going back to tracking. I'm going to go back to logging in my exercises because my exercises last month were really half-hearted. I ate breakfast, so I ate breakfast late, and then I tried to make this video earlier, and it was just kind of all over the place. This was my brain. I'm just not going to take myself so seriously. I'm going to learn to nourish my body, and 5 pounds is my goal for April. So we'll come back and we'll see how we are. Leave in the comments below if you have any tips or suggestions that may help with the weight fluctuation, because I do tend to do that from time to time. And if you have, if you want to tell me about your weight loss journey, I welcome that. Just leave it down in the comment section, and I will try to comment back to anybody who posts. And thank you to you guys who have shown your support and your love, and so that you're going to walk along this journey with me. I really appreciate that. I will see you again next time. Bye.